Good hellos to you, I am Swifto, and today I'm doing a VR to Wee Bob, who once again asks a community question. And this one he did say was a bit out there, a bit weird, and on the surface it does seem a bit of a strange question. He asked for 5 scenes from films or movies with bridges or some type of crossing, and yeah, it seems like a weird one at first, but then when I was watching his video, it's just like, actually there's loads. I could think of loads just off the top of my head, and it's like, it's more difficult to choose which ones to go for. And I'm not really sure if my picks are particularly great, because he did sort of want ones that had some sort of meaning or connection to it. To be honest with you, I don't really have any. I couldn't really think of any. I've just picked 5 which I thought were cool and I like, so that's what I've done. And there were a few that I was thinking of that didn't quite make the list. I was wondering if I should do honourable mentions, but this video will probably go on too long anyway, so I'll just leave it. And he started off his video by saying a little story of something that happened to him when he was younger, involving a bridge, which was quite amusing. I highly recommend you go and watch this video, by the way. So I thought I would do the same. I haven't really got any good stories or anything, but I do remember one thing from my childhood. Not to go into too much detail about it, but growing up with my big brother wasn't exactly the best experience, because I don't know, in retrospect I think maybe he might have been slightly on the autistic side, and he wasn't very nice. Not that autistic people aren't nice, I'm just saying, like, my brother, like, sometimes I'd just be sitting in my room playing with my toys and he'd come and beat me up for no reason at all, and he would practice these wrestling moves on me regardless of my objections and stuff like that. And just always living in his shadow, and even into adulthood. Everyone thinks he's wonderful, he's this amazing, great guy, and just wasn't. I didn't think he was so great growing up with him. Let's just say that. Life was torture for me, basically. But there was one thing, and I don't know if you'll think this story is funny or particularly nice, but it made me laugh. But one of the things my big brother really likes is fishing. I don't know, he likes golf and all sorts. Anything that I think is really boring, he loves for some reason. So when I was staying with my gran one time, she lived in a wee island. I think I've spoken about this before several times. Love that wee island. Not going to say the name of it, but yeah, just round the corner from where she lived, well, there was the farm, and then there was the woods, which I spent a lot of my childhood in. And in the woods there was this pond, and we're finally getting to the bridge. There was this wee tiny little wooden bridge, and it was just sitting there on the side of the bridge fishing, and the water was only like, I don't know, about that deep or something. But it'd been annoying me all day that day, and I saw an opportunity and I took the opportunity. I don't know why, I'm but the biggest coward who ever lived, but every now and then there's that voice in my head that just says, let's have some fun. So I snuck up behind him and just pushed him in. And my big brother's always been like a much bigger guy than me. Even my little brother's bigger than me these days, which is really annoying. But I just pushed him into the water, and I knew there would be consequences, but fuck it, I was just like, I see an opportunity here and I'm going to push him in as revenge for all the horrible things he's always doing to me. And I just remember seeing him standing there all covered in water, shouting and swearing. Because he was like full of water, he couldn't run after me, so I just bolted it down the woods, and I don't remember what happened after that. He probably beat me up for it. But that was a fun memory for me. Just one of the few times I got revenge on my big brother. So that's my little bridge story. I don't know if it's funny or nice or anything, but that's life. So anyway, on to my picks for Bridge Scene Song. I'm getting a bit of water in my eye. Yes. So I was thinking maybe like the Black Knight scene from Monty Python, and then I also thought, well, it's crossing, so there's that scene in The Mummy, the 1999 Mummy film with Brendan Fraser, is that what he's called? And there's the bit where Benny has got all the horses. Hey, it looks like I've got all the horses, and then he's like, it looks like you're on the wrong side of the river. But I didn't decide to go for that one, or the Black Knight one, which is a really iconic scene from the Holy Grail. But speaking of Holy Grails, I thought one of the first ones that immediately sprung to mind was, of course, the iconic bridge scene from Temple of Doom. And I was going to pick that. Got a copy here. But then I thought, it's a bit too obvious. And then I thought, actually, there is a better bridge scene. At least in my mind, it's more iconic and stuff. From, I'll just get it here. This is my Laserdisc of The Last Crusade. I had to read it there in case I didn't know what it fucking was, because I haven't seen it that many times. One of my all-time favourite films, by the way. Obviously you got the Harrison Ford guy and the Sean Connery guy, and they're doing their thing with the Junior and stuff, and it's a great film, obviously. But the thing, one of the scenes, one of the whole Indiana Jones franchise, what am I doing with my hand? It just goes round and round like a wizard. Is the scene where he's doing the trials to get to the Holy Grail, and I just really like that bit with the optical illusion where he has to do the leap of faith, because like you can't see what's going on until the camera moves, and you realise it's an optical illusion, and then he puts the stones on it to make sure that everyone else following them can see it. Just a bit of spoil sport, really, isn't it? But I really like that, just because it's like a sort of nice optical illusion thing. I thought it was cool. And yeah, the Indiana Jones one, Temple of Doom was actually the first Indiana Jones that I saw. I saw it on telly one time with my mum. So that's a bit of a connection there, I guess, if you want to like try and connect it to a life story or something. It's not a very good story though. And then I watched Last Crusade, and it actually took me a few years to watch to find Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is obviously the first one, but this is actually a prequel to the first film. I've got it upside down. Anyway, I'm choosing Last Crusade because it's one of my all-time favourite films. I think I'm actually more of a fan of Indiana Jones these days than I am Star Wars, because obviously there's been a lot of Star Wars things. I think just because there's less of it, I'm more of a fan of Indiana Jones because there's less of that. Well, you did get the Disney film that came out recently, which and the movie, the game. I always get the movie and the game mixed up because there's like two circular things going on. There's the Dial of Destiny and the Great Circle. I think Great Circle is the game, isn't it? I watched someone do a gameplay of it, and it looked like a fun game, but there is a character in that which really annoys me. But speaking of Indiana Jones, I just wanted to give a quick shout out. I don't think that's the right thing to say, but just recently I picked up these 3 volumes of Young Indiana Jones. I just wanted to mention them because I think they're great, and the first few episodes, it's like when he's a wee boy, and it's more sort of, it's meant to be an educational thing, but once he gets a bit older, it gets a bit more interesting. It's really an underrated show, to be honest with you. It's a shame they didn't make more, although there is quite a lot here. And for some reason, I resisted buying the DVDs for a long time, because for some reason they decided to edit them together. I don't know, you know what George Lucas is like. So it's like 2 episodes mashed together, and sometimes they work because they're sort of related thematically, but a lot of the time it's just like 2 random episodes stuck together which don't really go together, and I ended up just watching half of it and then coming back and watching the other half later. But I would recommend it though, overall. Indiana Jones, Young Indiana Jones, The Adventures of. Great explaining things. Strangely, for the DVDs, instead of like having behind the scenes extras and stuff, they've filled it with a lot of documentaries about the actual real life history, which is actually really interesting. I would have liked some behind the scenes stuff, but it goes into all in depth about stuff going on at the time period and all the people that Indiana Jones. I think Indiana Jones, if he was a real person, would have been like the most interesting person who ever lived, because all the different famous people he's met and all the things he's done, and he's been in the First World War, Second World War, and he's met aliens, which annoys some people. And well, he doesn't really meet God, but he has a sort of God experience, I guess. So Indiana Jones has had a very interesting life, hasn't he? Oh yeah, and then he goes back in time. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, my second pick. That's only my second pick. Fuck. How much time have I got left? I can't see. That's great. Well, I don't have like the case for this because it came in like a compilation thing. It's a Western film. Yeah. This is that. I just got the disc here, even though it doesn't say on the disc what it is, but it's The Wild Bunch, which is a fantastic Sam Peckinpah film. It's very famous and well known. I don't really need to. Well, I don't know if you're not into westerns, maybe you haven't seen it, but it's a great film, and the scene in it, which I would like to pick, is obviously a bridge scene where they blow up a bridge, and it's really cool watching it, but at the same time, you know, this was back, I think it was 1969 or something it was made, so there's no, I thought there was a date on it here, can't see one, but it's like 60s I think, so there's no like CGI or anything, so it's like real horses, people on real horses falling into a real river, so it's just like, the health and safety in that is just crazy, but highly recommend The Wild Bunch if you like your westerns. In particular, if you've played the Red Dead Redemption games, you'll see where Rockstar got a lot of their influence from The Wild Bunch. Obviously they got influence from various different westerns, but definitely The Wild Bunch is very inspired, or Red Dead Redemption 2 is very inspired by The Wild Bunch and like how they're on the run and stuff, but that bridge scene is really quite something with the horses falling into it and stuff, so that's why I picked it. It's my second choice. So yeah, I guess I'll go for this one then. I was thinking when I was watching this video of various different bridge scenes, and one that immediately sprung to mind was A View to a Kill, the James Bond film where he's on top of the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge fighting Donald Trump, and it's a really great scene from not a particularly great Bond film, but then I thought, you know what, because just recently I've been reading Live and Let Die, which is a product of its time. Let's just say there's a lot of the N-word going around, you know. It's funny, this book. It starts off as Live and Let Die, and then halfway through it turns into
License to Kill.
Because they've obviously mixed and matched various different scenes from different books for the different films, and it's all modelled together. And at the end of the book, what's his name, Strangeways or something, or Strangways, that was in Doctor No for about 5 seconds before he gets killed at the beginning of Doctor No. He's actually in Live and Let Die, which is a bit weird. But yeah, anyway, scene which is not in the book, only in the film, is the scene where he's getting fed to the crocodiles. And I thought that was kind of a fun idea. And another one like the Wild Bunch is like, what's the health and safety in this? Because the scene that I'm thinking of is when he's on the little island with the crocodiles coming to get him, and then he jumps across the crocodiles, and you can see one snap just as his foot misses it, like the stuntman going across. It's just like, fucking hell, how did they get away with that? But yeah, I just thought it was a really cool scene, and I wanted to have a bit of James Bond in my video. So yeah, Live and Let Die, not exactly my favourite film of the James Bonds. I do think Roger Moore gets a bit of unfair criticism. I think he's a good Bond, but he's obviously like an acquired taste. But he's not bad, you know, I like him. But yeah, that's a great scene with the crocodiles, and that's why I picked it. Sorry if you can hear that noise outside, someone's just decided to start cutting the grass, because that's what happens every time it's a fucking sunny day. I hate it when it's sunny. Anyway, my next pick, that down the rabbit hole, Kevin, he went and took one of my picks, and I was thinking maybe I should change it for something else, because he did a much better job of explaining it than I could. So I was thinking maybe I should just take that part of his video and splice it into this video, because he's just much more elegant with his words and way of talking, which I struggle with, as you can tell. I'm not a strong communicator, or a strong anything, to be honest with you. But the one that I decided to go for was Escape from New York, which, sliding out of case there. I wanted to go for this one because really fantastic film, one of my favourites, and you've got Snake Plissken there escaping with Donald Pleasance as the president from New York, which is this big prison place. If you haven't seen the film, highly recommend it. But at the end of the film, when he's running away from oh shit, I forgot his name. I can't see it. Well, the bad guy, you know, the bad guy. For fuck's sake, I'm sure it says it there. The Duke, or the Duke. Duke? I don't know. I say like Duke Nukem. Some people say Duke Nukem, or is it the other way around? I don't know. Anyway, they run away from the Duke guy, and yeah, they go across the bridge to go to the wall. See, Kevin is so much better than explaining things than I am. But they're in a taxi and it explodes, and I think, or does, I can't remember now. And then you have the woman character, I can't remember her name. This is just gone down the hill now, isn't it? I got distracted by the people outside making noise. Anyway, she's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna sacrifice myself for the rest of them tried to escape. And which I think at that point is just Snake and the president, actually. Is there another person there? What happens to Cabby? I can't remember now. It's been a while since I've watched the film. But this one actually does have a wee bit of a connection with like family or life things, because I remember the first time I watched this, I was down in Glasgow visiting my granddad with my dad, and yeah, whenever I watch this film, it reminds me of that time. My granddad passed away not too long ago, so yeah, and my dad, yeah, just put the film on. I thought it was great, and that's all I have to say about it. But that scene is really cool where he's trying to get up the wall because he's got a bomb which is going to go off and kill him or something. Was it a bomb or was it? I think it was a bomb. Oh, jeez, I'm so bad at explaining things. Which is why I want to be a writer. But yeah, I can't think of anything else to say. One thing that Kevin said in his video actually was, the music was really good for that bit because the rest of the film, because it's like an early John Carpenter film, is just synth, and as I think he was a bit sort of dismissive about the synth thing, but I actually really like the soundtrack to Escape to New York, so much so that I got the CD of it here, which is where I was looking for his name there. It says it there somewhere. But yeah, I think it's great film, great soundtrack, great scene on the bridge, and tried to cross the bridge and stuff. And like I say, when I watch that movie, it reminds me of like sitting with my dad and my granddad in his wee flat, choking from the smoke because they smoke a lot, but still kind of fond memories. And yeah, I really like the film and the soundtrack. I've already said that, I'm just repeating myself now. So finally, the last one that I wanted to pick was The Lost Boys, which I'm sure I've spoken about on several videos before. This is a film I remember watching when I was... Actually, I don't think I did see it when I was really young. I remember watching it as a teenager actually, and it sort of made me envious of people who grew up as a teenager in the 80s, because I thought it was like The Lost Boys, and I thought, oh, that's really cool and stuff. And do remember looking at this videotape when I was a wee boy though, and the artwork in the back there always sort of didn't give me nightmares, but it was always sort of stuck in my head, and as one of those images from my childhood, which is scary image, but great film, horror comedy thing about vampires if you don't know. And this is another one which I really like the soundtrack to, so much so that I got the CD, which I think is cover song. Well, most of them are cover songs, I think. Yeah. And I remember, who is it? Echo and the Bunny Men, who did it's People Are Strange cover, which is obviously a Doors song, but it actually got me into the Doors when I was really young, a teenager actually, watching the film for the first time, and I went and found out more about the Doors, not Echo and the Bunny Men, but yeah, you got a lot of great. Cry Little Sister is like this sort of main theme, I think. Lost in the Shadows, yeah, that was also the main theme as well, which I think is actually on the DVD. They got that as an extra feature. Come on. Yeah. I don't know why I got it out, because you can barely read that, but different artwork, not as scary, but I'll just put that back. The Lost Boys, there is a scene in it with Michael, isn't it? Can't remember anyone's name today. I think it's Michael, who's like the main guy. And you've got what's his name? Well, you know the guy, that guy, the main guy, who was in 24, you know, that series that used to be in telly. They're on a bridge, which is how it's connected to this video, and it's sort of like I forgot what you call it now. An initiation ritual, where they're on a bridge with the train coming, and that all stuck out in my head. Sorry to interrupt myself, but I'm actually going to redo this part of the video because I realised after I had finished recording that I'd got a few of the details wrong in this scene, so I'm actually going to re-describe it again because what I described was entirely done from memory, and it turns out I'd got a lot of things wrong. So actually what happens in this scene is they drive out to the bridge and a train is coming, and basically they sort of tease Michael, and they jump off the bridge and it looks like they're killing themselves, and then he sees that they're down hanging on the bottom of the bridge, and they sort of get him to come down, and this is before he gets his vampire powers. Spoilers if you haven't seen the film, that's what happens, and he doesn't know what's going on at this point. And then the train comes along and starts making the bridge vibrate, and one of the guys falls off the bridge, or lets go of the bridge, and falls down into the fog. And I just remember watching this scene when I was in my teen years, and like that scene of them falling into the fog, into nothing, it just sort of sticks in my memory. And yeah, the main guy of the gang, he's sort of teasing Michael, saying like, "You're one of us now, you've got to let go." Obviously, like, he doesn't know what's going on and he thinks he's going to die. And then once the train goes, like, he hears them laughing, and then he lets go, and it's like a sort of he doesn't know if it was a dream or not when he wakes up the next morning, and then that's like him becoming a vampire for the first time. I just remember that being a really cool scene when I watched it as a teenager, and it made me want to be a teenage vampire in the 80s, that film. But I imagine it'd probably not be that great. I mean, there is a scene where they're sort of eating people, and it's just like, yeah. I don't like my steaks rare, you know, so I prefer them like nice and cooked. So like the idea of eating like bloody flesh, nah, it's not for me. And I love garlic as well, like the head vampire guy. What's his name again? I don't know. I don't know why I asked that, because I can't remember anything. But I do remember that scene where they're on the bridge with the train coming and the fog underneath. Those are my picks. The Lost Boys, Escape from New York, The Wild Bunch, which I don't have a proper case for, Live and Let Die, and hold on, The Last Crusade. And yeah, I was thinking before I started the video, I was thinking maybe I could be a bit of a dick and say like, oh, bridge scenes, let's go for like scenes from Star Trek on the Enterprise, or like scenes from the Titanic or something, like that kind of bridge. But I don't think that's what Weeple was on about. I thought, let's not be a dick about it, let's actually answer the question he's asking. And so that's what I've done, and now that I've done it, I shall cease to verbally communicate. And actually also go and watch his video, and also Down the Rabbit Hole's video, starting up again, because he did a really good VR, and I'm sure probably other people have as well, but I haven't seen them, so I won't mention them, because how can I if I don't know who they are? You see? Anyway, go and watch Wee Bob's video, it's great. Or is it? Only you can decide. I don't know why. Fuck it, I don't know how to do endings. Goodbye.